So this boy that's so sexy comes in here and tells me today, after we got him blondish, he wants to go on the darker side, but like a nice, beautiful dark side. Like we're gonna do lowlights, probably like level 4s everywhere. And then we'll tone the rest of the blonde down with like 6s and 5s and make it like rich. But we're gonna do like a thicker stitch, I think. Maybe like one thicker like dimensional stitch to one like baby like kind of stitch. And like give it like variation.
Yes, honey.
Sounds good to me. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. So today my boy Matt is here and we are going to do what I used to call a foil conversion. This is where I take my blonde clients a little bit more lived in, darker, blonde, something darker, where we basically go in with mostly lowlights and tone whatever's left on the dropouts down as well. It depends on the client, what they exactly want, but you can do so many different things with this technique. So I'm going in and we're doing my dimensional stitch with my Sinful technique. We're doing a partial, obviously that's all he needs to do. And we're still doing my technique where we pack them back to back to back to back. If I want it bigger pop, I would do more of a traditional foil. So we're going in, and for my lowlights, I mixed a concoction of different things. And I know it looks scary. As soon as that color hits that blonde hair, it almost looks muddy or greenish. But remember, when you're using any color and you're adding a lowlight or you're, going darker all over, you have to put the underlying pigment back into the hair and you have to fill it. If I don't, and I go in there and I use just an ash tone, it will go green. Or if I even do a neutral, it will go green. You have to fill the hair. So that means the red, the copper, the gold. You got to put them back in your formula. Now, usually when I'm doing lowlights on a blonde, I always love to do an N mostly with a little drop of G. And that could be for many different reasons. Even if my client is, let's say, level 4 or 5 naturally, and I want to add a 5 lowlight. Even though underneath the level 5 is red, I am not going to use a copper or red. I only do that in a situation if we're doing an all-over color, going dark, something along the lines of that, or doing a permanent. But when I'm doing lowlights, I always like to do mostly neutral with a drop of G. Many reasons, but the main one being when it fades, it doesn't get too warm or turn orangey or reddish or anything like that, because no client usually wants to see that underlying pigment tone. So for him, the formula does look like it's going muddy. It actually made my heart drop the first second I applied it on the first foil. But you got to trust the process. I trust Shades EQ. I know it like the back of my hand, all 100 shades, and I knew I was confident with going in. So I did mostly a 3N, added 3NB, 3G. That's going to be what I'm using for my filler. And then I'm doing 4M, 4NCH, and 4ABN. The M is matte. We know that's a cool undertone. And I love them because they have really good coverage. They're good for the root area as well. If you want to do that alone for a root toner, you can do that one color alone. It covers very well. It's almost like using a Joico or Goldwell. It gets really good coverage. No foil line at all. Erases it. That's hence the name matte. Because it has that kind of darker deposit. But think of it this way. Most of my formula is a 3N. The NB, which is a neutral technically in shades, that is going to be technically a little bit of warmth. And then we have the 3G in there as my total filler. But then the 4M is cool. The 4NCH is a neutral chocolate, which is cooler in deposit. And 4ABN is a really, really, really packing a punch color for nice, cool brunettes, and that's ash brown. I am very confident this is going to come out to be a beautiful color. And remember, this is the darker tone I'm going with, because whatever's left out we can play with, and that's where I make it about a level or 2 lighter. Alright, so Matt likes a little bit of pop around the face, so I am going to go in and do just a little bang box area, and I'm just going to retouch the root, because if I went in there and I just left a couple pieces out with conditioner, he has a dark base. He's naturally a level 3, almost 2, so that would be harshness there, even if I did smudge it down later, so I want to make sure and ensure that piece is very nice and bright, and this gives you rooted as opposed to roots.
Every moment tonight, they led me to you. Every single time you look at me, I lose it too. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like you used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely.
All right, so I let him process a total of 35 minutes without heat. I know that his hair didn't need to get too light. That's why I wasn't worried about letting the lightener sit that long. And it was in the money piece area, which we know is more porous. You can see that color's looking a lot better. My anxiety is now relieved. I'm going to rinse him out really, really well, do 2 shampoos. I'm going to go in with the Global Toner with a 5G, 5NW, 6 ABN, 6 NCH. I wanted to add a little bit of the G in there to fill, obviously. I wanted some neutral warmth, and I also went in with the ABN and the NCH in a higher level, because that's what I did in the Lowlights as well. For the root tap that we're going to do, a slight little tap to give them a nice like blended base area, I went in with 2M and 3N. Remember, it's on wet hair at Shades EQ. It's not going to go as dark as his natural, but it will give us really good coverage.
I know you don't wanna talk, but just pick up the phone. We could go for a walk, talk about the things we know. Why don't you come sit next to me? Let things happen naturally, like it used to be. I don't wanna go and waste another day. Mess it up again, lost in my way. I'll be the one to have the highest price to pay. If I make it home tonight, may I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. May I hold you one last time? Let me hold you one last time. What if it's too late for me now? What if you gone to someone else, so we can never be the same? How can I make up for my sins? Now I'm lonely and it kills me. Can you hear me, babe? I'm lonely.
Alright guys, so we let him air dry because the way he styles his hair. If you look right now, even in this lighting, you can see the variations. It's literally like just a level and a half lighter on the part that was left out from the Lowlights that we did. And I toned that down too. We want it to look not solid, but we just want it to have a little dimension. And we did the thicker stitch. This is gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna show you a picture when he leaves later and takes a picture after it dries like he always does. But look, you can see the different tonalities right there. It's gonna be so cute. He feels more like himself. We're trying to find the perfect color for him. He's done the blonde now. I think the best on him is that dark base with little pieces of pop of highlights. And we'll see how this ends up growing out, but then all he has to do is come and do the toner or double toner to do the root shadow as it grows, because he's so dark. All right guys, I love you so much. I'll see you in the next one as always. So long for now.
Bye.